Toots, the season is upon us. How are you feeling?
Yeah, good, yeah. Obviously, pre-season's always, for every footballer, it's a bit of a chore, to be honest with you, but every day that goes by, you get closer to the season, and we're here now, nearly here now, and I think all the lads are ready, and it's an exciting time.
Has it been a case of feeling ready possibly for a couple of weeks and just counting down the time?
Yeah, well, I've had 290s, which is good. I think in pre-season to get 2 or 3 under your belt is good. Like you say, just counting down the days and working every day, getting it in the bank every day, and making sure off the field you're doing the right things and being prepared for it, because it's, without a pre-season under your belt, it's long tough season. So I'm glad to have got it through it fit and healthy, and as well as most of the lads, to be honest with you.
I'm not sure you can feel relief when there's 46 games plus all the cups in front of you, but are you a little relieved just to get pre-season done, because this year's supposed to have been pretty tough from what I hear?
Yeah, I think I would say relief, because it's the worst part of being a footballer, probably, because you only look forward to the games, and obviously look forward to the games in pre-season, but the competitive games are the ones you look forward to, because they're the ones where you get that feeling of excitement and the feeling of that feeling in your stomach of match day, and that's coming around now Saturday. So obviously a bit relieved that that's behind us, and it's another year done for me. It's about 11, 12 I think I've done now, and I've enjoyed it, but get the games going now and start walking the walk.
Still a youngish man, but you just mentioned that's 11, 12 pre-seasons done for you. What do you see your role as being in the team this year? Because obviously last year it was a very old team to an extent. There were some older members of the squad, whereas you kind of, because of the amount of them that left and because of the amount of younger people that have joined the club, you kind of jump up the ladder when it comes to seniority. Yeah,
well, I think I can be seen as a bit of a clown. I agree with that, and I think a lot of people don't see another side of me where I'm very serious and I'm a big talker on the pitch, and I know a lot of the young lads look up to me, and because when I was captain at Crewe, I led by example on the pitch, and I like to try and do that here by being consistent as much as I can, and that's all you can do. So I see myself as one of the older lads. I mix with the older lads a lot, and I think I want to be a leader as well as the captains around me that are on the pitch, and I want to be seen as someone who can be trusted to do important things. I'm in charge of the fines now, so it's a big responsibility for me. Me and Elliot are getting free dinner every night, so it's all right.
Talk me through the fine system this year then. What is a fine, and what sort of money are we talking?
There's a lot of things. I've obviously been late for training, flip-flops in the shower, doing other things in the shower that are unacceptable, getting nutmegged in training, late for a meeting, anything like that, serious stuff, but that's down to me now. We've got caught on a Friday, which it's good for the lads, a bit of camaraderie as well, because if you don't agree with a fine, you can take it to court and try and get past me. So.
And who's the court? I'm really intrigued by it.
Well, probably 4 of the older lads, and then I'm the guy I'm the judge.
You don't wear a daft wig or anything, do you?
I'm trying to sort that out at the moment. But yeah. So no, it's a bit of fun, but it's serious as well, and it's important with the discipline. The people aren't late, and people are doing the right things every day in day out, and the gaffer sees it as very important. So that's quite good for me to be doing that, and I'm enjoying the role.
What is the average cost of a fine? Give me, for example, that you get nutmegged in training.
Well, that's just £2, but if you're late, it's £20 for being late, and then £1 a minute over. So it's quite serious stuff. Yeah. Are
you going to be militant when it comes to enforcing?
Yeah, well, I'm just the collector, but the old lads are very militant on it, unless they're the ones who are late.
I asked you the question about kind of being one of the more experienced members of the squad now, because I know the slug gets the headlines, but I watched every game last season and I see the amount of talking that you do on the pitch and things like that. So far, we've not been told about a captain for this season. Is it something you would be happy? Would you love to be the captain of this football club, even if it's not full time, but on an ad hoc basis?
Listen, I'd love to lead, especially this club out, because it's very close to me now, and it'd be a big honour for me. I know that's not going to happen, and I think it's important for me to not have too much pressure on my shoulders. And when I was captain of Crewe, it did add pressure to me, which I don't like. So I think we've got people who are in the line for that who are very much deserving of it, and I love to walk out behind them and be led out by them and the people who I look up to. So that's not for me to say, but obviously captaining any club is a big honour, so obviously it's something that's nice, but I highly doubt that'll happen. Captain slugging on the floor.
You'd have to, yeah, exactly. If you get the armband, you'll have to, exactly, the slug. Expectations, hopes for this season. I know hopes and expectations amongst the fans are very high.
Yeah, and understandably so. Like, I think since the gaffer's come in, it's been pretty consistently good, and I know we had last season, I think, was a good learning curve for us as I see it, because I seen it as, for the squad we had at one point was 10 games without a win, and then to go on the run we did, and then last season be in the top 4 for 90% of the season, which is, it's a different kind of pressure, if you know what I mean. I think obviously it's not as much pressure as when you're in 23rd place and you haven't won a game for 10. That's pressure because you've fallen out of the Football League, but it's a new pressure to deal with, and I think we dealt with it at certain times, but then we also didn't, and I think all of us have learnt from that now, and we've brought in lads who have been involved in promotions and stuff now, and hopefully they're, with them added to it, we can all be a lot more consistent when it gets to the latter end of the season. But like I said, the expectation wise, we're just taking it game by game, and we work every week to week on our next game, and like the gaffer just said then, it's about treating every game like you need to, like it's a cup final, and we go week by week and we see where it gets us, and we obviously have higher expectations of ourselves from what we've done since the gaffer come in. Is
it going to take a bit of time possibly to gel the sheer amount of new signings?
Yeah, I think so. I think obviously in pre-season it looks quite bad in the results, but there's been so much good to come out of it. I think if the fans and anyone watching got to see what we watch every Monday after a game when we lost against Derby and Leicester and then even Luton, so much good's coming out of it, and I think it's just bringing that competitive side into it and learning as it, for myself with Enzio, I've got to learn what he does and what's his attributes and how I can help him, and I need to learn how I play as well, and we can link up more. But that's just myself and him. The whole team needs to gel, and I think it's gonna take time either way, but I think we're already making great strides in that sense.
Nice to be at home opening day, but Colchester's not the easiest of sides in the league, is it?
No, it isn't. We've got a lot of respect for them. Understand that they're a good side, and I think last season we turned them over twice at home and away, which was. But I think at home, I remember they were one of our best opponents on the day, and it's a new season now, and we'll be. We've done a bit of work on them, and we know what they're good at and all that. So we're gonna hopefully turn them over and get off to a good start.
Cheers, Steve.
So 10 new signings, of course, across the summer, players going out as well. What's that done to the dynamic of the squad in the last few weeks, would you say?
I think we've had a lot of youth, which is great, and regarding the dressing room and stuff, it's been brilliant. Everyone's getting on fantastic, and I think it's just added a bit of a spark to us with the players we brought in, and players who can do things off the cuff and make things happen, and I think as a squad it's just looking really healthy.
You mentioned Enzio there. In terms of your position and your role within the team, how do you see that developing compared to what you were expected to do last year?
Well, I want to get the best out of him, most importantly, because I know the gaffer's told me about him. He's a very, very good player, and the club have gone to great strides to get him in, so I just want to help him as much as we can to get the best out of him, because that'll only benefit us. But I just see it as been a good partnership. I've played against wingers like himself before, quick, and I want to get at people and run the ball and get us up the pitch, so I'll hopefully work with him well, and he's a great lad as well, and having a lot of chats with him, and he's really wants to do well, so hopefully it'll work out.
Just looking back on the playoffs, because that should be viewed as a success in the sense of getting to the playoffs. Obviously it ended negatively here against Coventry, but is that something you can use going forward at the start of the season as kind of a motivation to use that for your benefit?
Yeah, of course, yeah, because every disappointment has got to be used as as a positive in some sense, and for me personally, obviously wasn't great, and it you know, it haunts me all summer. But then it's behind us now, and that's why we come back in and we get fresh faces in, and everything, you know, looks positive, and we look at that as, you know, we use that as that's not going to happen to us again kind of thing. And you know, best case scenario, we don't even enter the playoffs, which is obviously what the whole we get where we deserve to be, I think.
So not so tagged as pre-season favourites. I know on Sky Sports this morning they were listed at the top on Sky, but is that something the players are aware of? Is it something the players discuss? Does it add extra pressure? Do you feel that with the amount that's been spent over the summer?
I think it's a great sign, because not just with what's been spent. I think from where we were 18 months ago to, you know, at the end of the day, I know you say we brought 10 players in, but it's, you know, it's not like the whole squad's been changed, yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that's a lot to do with the lads who were here 18 months ago, and I think it's a great, what's the word? I forgot, lost my word, my vocabulary's gone here. But it's a great testament, thank you, to where we've how far we've come, and it doesn't add pressure, it just should add confidence to the squad, and hopefully we can live up to them expectations. But no, it's not really mentioned, it's not really important, because as we all know, odds are odds. It's anything can happen. Leicester won the league, and in the Premier League they were never going to do that, was they? So it's not really mentioned at all. No, we just do our job and see where it gets us.
On a personal level, you're going into this season on the back of signing a new 2-year contract. Does that make any difference to you, knowing you've got a bit of extra kind of security for the next couple of years, or is that not in your mind at all? No,
I've always really had security behind me. I've never really been. I've been lucky in a sense with football. I very rarely have got to the end of my contract, if you know what I'm saying, and it's never really been a problem. The only thing with me is I wanted to be here so much, like, and when I did sign the contract back in December last year, it was kept quiet just because they just wanted to look after me, and it wasn't about getting any kind of press out of it. It was just about me being rewarded, I think, and also me committing to the club because I wanted to be here so much. And you know, there were other things in the pipeline, but I didn't want to even look into that. I just wanted to be here. So it's like, for me, I'm just delighted to be here. I don't think about whether it's security or whatever. I just want to be here and do the best for the club.
Just finally as well, Kevin spoke after the game at Luton last weekend. He wasn't overly happy with some of the mistakes that were made. Is that something that's been worked on in training this week in the build-up to Colchester?
Yeah, that's what obviously that's what pre-season's here for, and we're trying a few different things, and they haven't quite worked, or we're not quite gelling into that straight away. But that's why it's here, and the mistakes have been made, obviously, for us to get better. But when it doesn't cost us anything, and obviously the gaffer and Tomo and Norm have all done the work on that, and we're working every day on that kind of stuff. But we're going to make mistakes throughout the season, but it's just obviously the result wasn't great in the end, and overall the performance wasn't where we should be, and in a good way. I think it's worked out well for us, because he's going to get a reaction out of us this weekend, and what better time to do it.
And of course you don't want to repeat what happened on the first day last season, although I guess that does show that, you know, a lot of fans were writing off the season at Coventry a year ago, and it all changed very quickly, didn't it?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, last year was a difficult one, and that dressing room after that game wasn't a nice place to be, because we all, like you're saying now, there was talk of us being favourites last year, so it was and we bounced back from that with, I think, 8 wins out of 9. So I just think, obviously it's early doors, you've just got to be patient, but we want to get off to a flyer, and we're more than ready to do that against Colchester.
Brilliant, thanks.
So how does it feel to be going into the season as player of the season from last year?
Yeah, it's great, but it doesn't really matter. I know I've won that. It's the 3rd time I've won it, and it doesn't really matter, because it's a fresh start, and I just want to impress again. And you know, every player, I think the sole aim is to be the player of the season every year. So I'll try again to do that, but it's in the past now, and I just want to continue getting better, because I think there's still a lot more to come from me. So I'm looking forward to a new season.
away from the field, Mind, the mental health charity, are the league sponsors this year. I know obviously you've been very candid and very open and honest about your own past with mental health. Are you looking forward to getting involved in some initiatives surrounding that this year?
Yeah, I think I'm going to be an ambassador for them, so I'm looking forward to getting involved with that, of course, and anything else I can get involved with as well, that's going to continue carrying on, so yeah.
You must be pleased that the league have chosen that charity, because obviously you spoke very openly about it last year. I understand when you did the interview with TalkSport, a lot of people came to you for help and advice on the back of that, and now obviously the exposure that the sort of the mental health issue is going to receive now is massive.
Yeah, well, I hope that I played my part in that. Obviously the Football League have got to choose that, and they've chosen something that's close to my heart, so it's great for football in every term, so hopefully we can, I think over the summer I've seen a lot more people speaking out, which is great, and it can carry on the upward curve where we're getting where we should be with it, that it is okay to talk, so I'm looking forward to getting involved with all that.